Oh, well, here we go. So, my name's Jimi Hendrix. Today is the 24th of November 1942, and I'm going to be carrying out fitting a studwork wall. First of all, I'm using Makita. I'm not sponsored by Makita. These are all my own tools. I purchased my own tools many years ago, and this is many years ago too. I'm using a dust sheet to protect the customer's belongings, personal belongings, properties. I'm just going to screw up a dust sheet to the ceiling. Don't worry, it's going to be decorated a little bit more filling in the walls and the ceilings. And I'm using CLS timber 63 by 38 softwood timber. Some of it's tannalized, some of it's not. Plasterboard 2.4 by 1.2, 12.5 millimeters. And I'll be using mostly screws. I don't have a first fixed nail gun, I have a second fixed nail gun, but I will be screwing most of it using an assortment of screws, plastic packers, because it turns out that one end where the steel beam is supporting upstairs, one end, this right side or to my right, the wall is 165 millimeters wide, and the steel beam and the boxing in down the opposite end on the left hand side is 155, which means there's a 10mm difference. That makes my job a little bit strange. Anyway, so the plan is for me going to put one stud wall up, and then the other timber, so I've got 20 lengths of timber, and I'm going to put one on its edge and one on its side. That way it will help build out the stud wall. Also, I've got some insulation which will go inside just to create some kind of sound barrier protection, and also keep the wall clean as well. So I'm thinking of the environment, reducing the carbon footprint, which means that I won't be heating up all of this room and heating this room. So it will just keep this as a nice warm barrier, or this as a nice warm barrier. I'm using 75mm slab insulation, so it's something. And I'll be using a miter saw to cut my timbers to length, a cordless drill, maybe my combi drill, some people call this an impact driver, cordless drill, and I will be using spirit level and laser level to make sure everything's checked nice and square. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I've put up the dust sheet, so it's just going to reduce any dust from travelling onto the other side. It's not going to be in my way, so hopefully I will be able to get a chair. There's a chair there. Ooh. There we go. Bit of space so I can carry on my work. All good. Okay, so I have just had a measure because the client gave me the wrong measurement. The client gave me a measurement of 2440, and actually it's 2460, which means that my timbers are not long enough, and that means I'm going to do something that I've never done before, but it'll still be okay because it's not load bearing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the thickness of the material as a way of bringing the length of the timber off the wall. So what I'm going to propose to do is, the correct method would be to put a head plate and a sole plate down, and then you put your wall studs in, then your intermediates. I'm going to do something slightly different. Is I'm going to put my wall plate on first, either end, and then I'm going to put my head plate and my sole plate down, and then I'll put my intermediates on top of those plates, and the reason being for doing that is because the length across here would be too short. Sorry, the timbers would be too short. So by bringing this timber, it would give this a little bit more space for me to put the head and the sole plate in. So I'm just going to get these prepared. I'm going to use my speed square and then just mark the top of the timbers. That will give me that piece, and then I'll do the same that end, and then I'll cut these timbers, and I'm going to use a hammer drill to fix to the wall using screws and plugs. So the timber is cut to length. Cut it, it will go in. That's a little bit tight there, it's okay I think. I'm going to pre-drill, so using my drill driver, this will make it easier for putting my upright to the wall. Pre-drill first, I'll just do a few fixings, holes. That's good. Okay. Do you have a hammer? Where's my trusty spirit level? That's disappeared. Oh, 6 foot. I've got my 1.2. So I'll do. So according to that, it's not plumb. But could my spirit level be out? Let's check. That seems okay. It could be my level is slightly out. I think my line is out. So that's good. One way of checking the spirit level to see if it's okay. Check your bubble, turn the spirit level over. Does the bubble land in the same place in the bottom? Yes, it does. That top one is okay. Now that one's okay. And then I'm going to use a hammer drill, Makita. We call these 2 kilogram hammer drills. This one has got a drill chisel chaser facility. So SDS, slot dimple slot. Drill bit. This is a 8mm. Hammer action. So that's good to go. This is a 110. I haven't upgraded yet to a cordless because I don't use them all the time. Brown plugs, 100 by 6mm screws, PZ2s, 4 brown plugs, PPE. Hammer drill's quite noisy, so I'll be wearing my full face protection, ear protection, Mask. Might be needing my baseball cap. Ventilator system. Hammer drill. Sometimes might need a couple of plugs. So we go tight. Did it get this tight? I might be needing this to put the screws in. That's okay. Impact driver. Now secured to the wall, and I'll carry on fixing the remaining screws in. All good. Okay, moving on to the top piece, the head plate. Oh, nice light bit of timber here, see less. So touching on that side, and we are. Ooh, so what we're going to do is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this, and then I'm going to cut it. I'm just going to leave it a couple of mil long, so it creates a little bit of a nice tight space up there. And because there is a steel up here, but it's probably plasterboarded and plastered, I won't be able to drill into the steel. I could, but I'm not going to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some, we call it grit fill in the trade, but it is, this one is Grip Bond, which is a non-slumping, multi-purpose, high quality gap filling adhesive. So this gap filling adhesive, I'm just going to place that up the top there, and then when my intermediates go in, it will create a nice tight squeeze. All right, all looking good so far. Let's see how this goes in. Ooh. That is tight. It is good. Because timber does shrink. So just to check, that's good. So that's me just being paranoid. Gap filling adhesive. I'll just run a 5-6 mil bead line up the top there. I will splurge a bit in here. I will screw each corner in the corner, so have no fears. No fears. And because I love using this stuff, it does stick quite well. Good. Just release the pressure off that. Tight in one corner. This one, we know that's going to fit in there. there, splurging out. So this timber's slightly twisted. That's okay. A couple of PZ2s, 100 mils, just to hold that in. All good. I'll do the other end. Excellent. Right, moving on. Yeah, once I get an intermediate in, we'll tighten that up. So I've put the sole plate down and I'll just spike a couple of screws in the base. So now the sole plate and the wall plate are spiked in together. I know you can't see that, but it is. Right, then I'm going to mark out for my centres. So I'm using a 1.2 metre sheet, which means I'm going to be using 400 centres for each timber. So 400, 800, 1200. And then I'll just continue working along. Yep. 400. Another 400. And there's a little bit of excess there, so I'm going to have to fill that in. I'm going to have to run out and get some more plasterboard. So I'll then measure my lengths of timber and then fix those to the wall plate, sorry, to the head plate and floor plate.